Hello everyone, I got 15 jokes for you today. In a hospital, a woman is undergoing a complex surgical procedure when she suddenly experiences a profound vision of God appearing to her amidst the bright surgical lights. In her state of heightened awareness, she poses a question to God about the duration of her remaining time on earth, and God, in His omniscient wisdom, informs her that she still has a full 30 years left to live out her life. Emerging from the anesthesia after the completion of the surgery, the woman lies in her hospital bed, contemplating the prospect of the next 30 years stretching out before her, and she decides that it's time to implement some significant changes in her life. As a result, she arranges an extensive roster of cosmetic procedures, a tummy tuck to firm up her middle, a facelift to smooth out the wrinkles of age, liposuction to remove any stubborn pockets of fat, and fillers to restore youthful plumpness to her skin. In short, if there was a procedure that promised to enhance her appearance, she didn't hesitate to include it on her list. Once she was fully recovered and discharged from the hospital, and feeling thoroughly glamorous and revitalized from her comprehensive beauty overhaul, the woman confidently struts across the road. But in an unexpected turn of events, she's struck by a speeding car and tragically dies. Standing before God in the afterlife, she questions Him with a tone of disappointment and confusion. She wants to know why He had reassured her that she had 3 more decades to enjoy life, when that clearly wasn't the case. God, appearing a little perplexed, simply shrugs His shoulders and says, "Well, I didn't recognize you." One sunny day, a visually impaired gentleman and his loyal guide dog are out for their regular stroll, navigating through the neighborhood streets. They soon find themselves approaching a notoriously busy intersection bustling with traffic. Seemingly unfazed by the loud noises and the high volume of cars speeding past them on the street, the dog takes an unexpected decision. He guides the blind man straight into the chaotic thick of traffic, showing no regard for the clear and present danger. This abrupt move is instantly followed by the harsh jarring screech of braking tires and the cacophony of horns blaring in panic. Terrified drivers swerve desperately, doing their utmost to avoid hitting the blind man and his dog, who are now dangerously exposed in the middle of the road. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the blind man and his guide dog manage to reach the safety of the sidewalk on the other side of the bustling intersection, narrowly escaping what could have been a tragic accident. After catching his breath, the blind man reaches into the pocket of his worn-out coat, retrieves a doggy biscuit, and offers it to his canine companion. A passerby, who has been observing the entire near-death incident from a short distance, finds himself unable to contain his astonishment. He approaches the blind man and asks incredulously, "I'm sorry, but I have to ask, why on earth are you rewarding your dog with a cookie? He nearly got you killed out there." The blind man, turning his head slightly in the direction of the voice, replies coolly, "To find out where his head is, so I can kick his ass." The maternity class is bustling with pregnant women and their supportive husbands, all eager to learn and prepare for their upcoming life change. The instructor, an experienced professional, begins by emphasizing the importance of exercise during pregnancy. "Ladies, it's crucial to remember that staying active is beneficial for both you and your baby." She goes on to explain, walking, in particular, is a fantastic choice. It not only strengthens the pelvic muscles but also makes the delivery process much smoother. Just be mindful of your pace, take frequent breaks, and opt for a soft surface, like a grassy path, for added comfort. The instructor then addresses the men in the room, saying, "Gentlemen, let's not forget that you're partners in this journey. Accompanying your wives on these walks would be a thoughtful gesture. In fact, sharing this experience will only serve to strengthen your bond as a couple." The room falls into a contemplative silence as the men digest the information. After a few moments of reflection, a man seated at the back of the room tentatively raises his hand. The instructor responds, "Yes? What's your question?" The man, a hesitant look on his face, poses his query, "I was just wondering, would it be alright if she carries a golf bag whilst we walk?" Every single year, like clockwork, Walter would escort his dear wife Ethel to the bustling state fair. This annual tradition was something they both anticipated with excitement. As they meandered through the fairgrounds, Walter would always halt in front of the helicopter rides and turn to Ethel, the desire apparent in his eyes, and say, "Ethel, you know that I'd love to go for a ride in that helicopter." Ethel, ever the pragmatic one, would respond in her calm, matter-of-fact tone, "I know, Walter. But that helicopter ride is $50, and $50 is $50. One year, as they were immersed in the lively ambience of the fair, Walter, now an old man of 87 years, turned to Ethel and reiterated his long-standing wish. He said to her, "Ethel, you know I'm 87 years old now. If I don't ride that helicopter this year, I may never get another chance." Ethel, consistent as always, retorted, "Walter, you know that helicopter is $50, and $50 is $50. During this exchange, their voices carried over to the ears of the helicopter pilot. Intrigued by the couple's conversation, he decided to intervene. He approached the couple and offered, "Listen folks, I'll make a deal with you. I'll take both of you for a ride. If you can both stay quiet for the entire ride and not say a word, I won't charge you." He added a clause, "But if you say just one word, it's $50. Walter and Ethel, after a moment of consideration, agreed to the pilot's challenge. Consequently, they found themselves buckled up in the helicopter, ready for an adventure. As the helicopter ascended into the clear blue sky, the pilot demonstrated an array of impressive tricks and maneuvers. However, not a single word escaped from either Walter or Ethel. The pilot, determined to win, repeated his death-defying tricks over and over again, yet the couple remained silent, determined not to lose the bet. Finally, as the helicopter landed back onto the ground, the pilot, visibly impressed, turned to Walter and exclaimed, "Wow, I've got to hand it to you. I did everything I could to get you to scream or shout out, but you didn't. I'm really impressed." Walter, with a twinkle in his eye, responded, "Well, to be honest, I almost said something when Ethel fell out, but, you know, $50 is $50. A mature lady makes her way back from her doctor's appointment, her face adorned with a broad grin that reaches from ear to ear. Her husband, noticing her unusually high spirits, curiously inquires, "Why are you radiating such joy today?" With a twinkle in her eye, the woman cheerfully responds, "Well, my dear, the doctor made an interesting observation. He mentioned that for a woman of my age, which is 45, I have the breasts that resemble those of an 18-year-old girl." With a playful spark in his eyes, her husband retorts, "Oh really? And what did he have to say about your 45-year-old ass?" With a mischievous grin, she promptly answered, "Oh, we didn't discuss you at all." A youthful blonde woman makes her way home with an accelerated pace one day, her face lit up with excitement. As she crosses the threshold, she immediately begins searching for her mother, exclaiming, "Mummy, something fascinating happened at school today. All the other students could only manage to count up to the number 3, but I can count all the way up to 5. She demonstrates eagerly, "Just watch this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could this unique talent mean that I am special?" Her mother, looking at her daughter with a soft smile, replies in a soothing voice, "Yes, my dear, it indeed implies that you are special." The very next day, the vibrant blonde woman again comes dashing into her home, her eyes wide with anticipation and pride. She barely catches her breath as she announces, "Mummy, you won't believe what happened at school today. Everyone else could only say the alphabet from A to C, but I can confidently go all the way until E." She recites with an air of pride, "Look, A, B, C, D, E. Could this remarkable accomplishment mean I'm special?" Her mother, suppressing her amusement, replies warmly, "Yes, dear, it definitely confirms that you are special." Yet another day, the blonde woman comes racing into the house, her face flushed with a mixture of surprise and revelation. She blurts out, "Mummy, you won't believe what I noticed at school today. We were getting ready for our physical education class and I observed something. All the other girls had flat chests, but look at what I have." She quickly opens her blouse, revealing a pair of generously sized DD breasts. Could this distinct difference mean that I'm special? Her mother releases a deep sigh and says, "No dear, it's because you're 25. Three longtime friends find themselves huddled in the corner of a cozy pub, engaging in a lively debate about the fastest things they can conceive of. The first friend, Bill, confidently asserts, "It's absolutely sound. The moment words leave my mouth, it requires virtually no time for them to reach your ears, even if you happen to be positioned on the far side of this very room." John, the second friend, laughs and dismisses Bill's claim, "Don't be ridiculous. Light holds the record for speed in the universe. Did you not pay attention to any of our science lessons back in school? Light, as a form of pure energy, remains unchallenged in its speed. Absolutely nothing travels faster." Bill, upon recalling some dusty fragments of his old physics lessons, reluctantly nods in agreement with John's assessment. Throughout this debate, the third friend, Dave, has been listening attentively in quiet contemplation. "You've both got it wrong," Dave finally interjects. "Without a doubt, the fastest thing has to be shit." Taken aback, the other two friends exchange puzzled glances before turning their incredulous gaze back towards Dave. Unfazed, Dave proceeds to expound on his theory. "The other night, I decided to try my hand at cooking a seafood curry at home. I thought it would be a delightful treat for my wife and myself. However, something must have been a little off with the ingredients, because as I settled into bed that night, I could feel my stomach starting to churn. I woke up in the middle of the night feeling absolutely dreadful." John interjects, still puzzled, Dave, how does this tale relate to our discussion about the fastest things?" Dave elaborates, "Well, you see, I awoke around 4 a.m. with a peculiar sensation in my stomach, and before I could so much as flick on the bedside lamp and alert my wife to my discomfort, I shit the bed." A solitary man is kneeling in the serene stillness of a grand old church. He looks up towards the ornate, stained-glass window portraying the heavens and speaks quietly, "God, could you grant me the favor of answering a question that lingers in my mind?" "Of course, my dear son," comes the gentle omnipotent voice of God. "What is it that you wish to understand?" The man, feeling a sense of calm and reassurance from the divine response, asks, "God, could you please explain to me what a million years feels like to you?" "Well," replies God with infinite patience, "to me, in the grand scheme of the universe, a million years is as fleeting as a single second." The man ponders over this response, eventually nodding slowly as he says, I suppose that makes sense, given your eternal existence." Feeling emboldened, he continues, "So, in that context, what does a sum of $1 million represent to you?" God responds with fatherly wisdom, "My beloved son, to me, $1 million is as insignificant as a single penny." Muses the man, taking in this new perspective. He goes back to his reverential kneeling position, praying silently as he contemplates the divine discourse. After a few moments of peaceful silence, the man once again raises his eyes to the high heavens. "God," he ventures, "might I ask you for a penny?" "Sure," God replies with a divine smile. "Just a second." Two southern country gentlemen decided to take a trip up north to Canada for an adventurous hunting expedition. They arranged for a small charter plane to transport them deep into the breathtaking expanse of the Rocky Mountains for a week-long quest of hunting the majestic moose. Their hunting skills and luck combined, they managed to bring down 6 of these magnificent creatures. As they were industriously loading the plane for their return journey, the pilot interjected, stating that the aircraft had a weight limit and could only safely transport 4 moose. The 2 hunters raised an uproar of protest. "Last year we were here and bagged 6 just like this time. The pilot then allowed us to take them all, and if my eyes don't deceive me, he was flying the exact same model plane as yours." Reluctantly, the pilot gave in to their strong objections, and all 6 moose were laboriously loaded onto the small aircraft. With much effort, the overloaded plane lumbered into the air. However, when attempting to cross a range of towering mountains, even with the engines at full power, the poor little plane simply couldn't handle the weight of the heavy load and tragically went down. Miraculously, amidst the scattered moose bodies, only the 2 country gentlemen survived the horrific crash. After clambering out of the twisted wreckage, Billy Ray turned to Billy Bob and asked, "Any idea where we might be?" Billy Bob replied, "I think we're pretty close to where we crashed last year." An elderly lady made an appointment and visited her doctor one day, looking a bit concerned. She started the conversation, saying, "I seem to have developed an issue with passing gas far more frequently than usual. Fortunately, the peculiar thing about these bouts of flatulence is that they never have any odor and they're always absolutely quiet. As a matter of fact, I've had these bouts of gas at least 10 times since I've walked into your office, and I'm willing to wager you didn't even notice." The doctor listened attentively, then said, "I see. Here are some pills for you. Please take them as prescribed and make an appointment to see me next week." The following week, the elderly lady returned to the doctor's office. "Doctor," she says with a hint of annoyance, "I don't know what on earth you gave me, but now my previously silent and odorless farts smell like a bucket of fish left in the sun for a week." The doctor, looking quite satisfied, responds, "Good. Now that we've cleared up your sinuses, let's work on your hearing." A student of Kung Fu approaches his respected teacher, burdened with a question that has been troubling him. "Master," he respectfully inquires, "why does my ability to perform the techniques not show any improvement? I find myself consistently defeated in combat." The master, a man known for his deep contemplation and enduring patience, responds thoughtfully, "My dear disciple, tell me, have you ever observed the gulls as they glide effortlessly by the radiant setting sun, their wings illuminated as though they are aflame?" "Yes, my revered master, I have indeed witnessed such a sight." "And what about a waterfall, cascading mightily over rugged stones, demonstrating the raw power of nature without altering anything from its rightful place?" "Yes, my master, I have indeed been in the presence of such raw natural power." "And have you ever seen the moon, when it gently meets the surface of the tranquil water, reflecting all of its enormous, celestial beauty?" "Yes, my master, I have also been privy to such a marvelous and awe-inspiring phenomenon." "Therein lies the problem," the master said, with a slight sigh. "You keep watching all that crap instead of training." A man finds himself in solitude in an airport lounge, awaiting his next flight. A stunning young woman strolls into the area and chooses to sit at the table adjacent to his. Observing her attire, he surmises that she is likely an off-duty flight attendant. Seeing an opportunity, he decides to attempt to impress her by correctly identifying the airline she works for, using their various mottos. Leaning over subtly towards her, he softly utters the British Airways slogan, "To fly, to serve?" The young woman simply offers him a blank, uncomprehending stare. He leans back, momentarily stumped, but quickly conjures up another airline motto. Once again, he leans towards her, this time delivering the Air France slogan, "Winning the hearts of the world?" Yet again, she merely stares at him, her face etched with a hint of confusion. Not one to be easily deterred, he makes another attempt, this time choosing to recite the Malaysian Airlines motto, "Going beyond expectations?" The woman looks at him with a growing annoyance and snaps, "What the heck do you want?" "Oh," he says, "American Airlines." One fine day, God was overseeing the planet Earth and couldn't help but notice all of the mischievous and devious behavior that was rampant. This prompted him to summon one of his trusted angels, instructing the angel to descend to Earth for a period of time to observe and report back. Upon the angel's return, the angel reported to God, "Yes, indeed, the situation on Earth is quite dire. 95% of humans are engaging in wrongdoings and only a meager 5% are upholding virtuous behavior." God pondered over this revelation for a moment and then decided, perhaps, I ought to dispatch a second angel to cross-verify this report. So, without further ado, God called upon another angel and dispatched him to Earth for a while. When the second angel returned, he approached God and confirmed, yes, the initial report was accurate. The state of affairs on Earth is deteriorating, 95% are engaging in misconduct, but there exists a small group, 5%, who are genuinely striving to do good. God found this news disconcerting, so he decided to reach out to the 5% that were virtuous because he desired to inspire them and provide a little bit of motivation to keep them persevering in their good deeds. Do you have any idea what the content of that motivational email was? No? Well, that's perfectly fine, because I didn't receive one either. The flight unfortunately had not been provisioned with sufficient meals for all its passengers. Having been airborne for a mere half an hour on an outbound evening flight, the lead flight attendant of the cabin crew, with a look of discomfort and apprehension on her face, reluctantly made the following regrettable announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply sorry to inform you, but it seems that a significant last-minute error has been made by our airport's catering services. I'm at a loss as to how such a thing could have occurred, but we currently have 103 passengers on board, and to our dismay, we've been supplied with only 40 dinner meals. I sincerely apologize for this oversight and the inconvenience it will undoubtedly cause. As the grumbling and murmuring among the passengers subsided, she continued her announcement. If there is anyone generous enough to forego their meal so that another passenger may eat, we will express our gratitude by offering free, unlimited drinks, whether alcoholic or non-alcoholic, for the duration of our flight. Her next announcement arrived a full 90 minutes later. If anyone is open to the idea of changing their choice, we still have 40 dinner meals available. In a recently unearthed chapter of the book of Genesis, an intriguing answer to the age-old question, where do pets originate from, was discovered. Adam, feeling a deep sense of loneliness, reached out to the Lord. Lord, during my early days in the Garden of Eden, we would stroll together daily. However, now I no longer see you. The solitude here is overwhelming, and it's challenging for me to remember the vastness of your love for me. To this, God responded, Fear not. I will create a lifelong companion for you, one who will always be by your side and serve as a reflection of my unwavering love for you. This way, even when you can't see me, you'll be reminded of my love. No matter how selfish, childish, or unlovable you may become, this new companion will accept you as you are, and will love you unconditionally, just as I do. And so, God created a new animal to keep Adam company. This animal was good-hearted and filled with kindness. God was pleased with his creation. The new animal was delighted to be with Adam, and wagged his tail in joy. However, Adam faced a predicament. He told the Lord, I have already named all the animals in the kingdom, and I am at a loss for a suitable name for this new animal. God, in his infinite wisdom, said, Don't worry. As I have created this new animal to mirror my love for you, his name should reflect my own. Hence, you will call him Dog. And so, Dog came to live with Adam, providing him with companionship and unwavering love. Adam found comfort in Dog's presence, and God was pleased. Dog, in return, was content and continually wagged his tail. After some time, Adam's guardian angel approached the Lord, expressing a concern. Lord, the angel began, Adam has grown excessively prideful. He parades around like a peacock, believing he deserves constant adoration. Dog has indeed taught him that he is loved, but perhaps he has done his job too well. In response, the Lord said, Fear not. I will create another companion for him. This companion will forever be by his side and see him for who he truly is. This companion will serve to remind Adam of his limitations, ensuring he knows he is not always worthy of adoration. And thus, God created Cat to be another companion for Adam. Cat, however, would not obey Adam. When Adam looked into Cat's eyes, he was reminded of his place in the grand scheme of things, and thus, he learned humility. God was pleased with this development. Adam was significantly improved as a person, and Dog was happy. As for Cat, well, Cat didn't give a shit one way or the other.